Hi everyone, and welcome back to the Law of Attraction Life Coaching Podcast. We're coming up to Valentine's Day, and I wanted to talk to you a little bit about heartache and about being alone and lonely, because this seems to be something that happens to quite a lot of people around Valentine's Day. And this doesn't have to be just to people that are not in a partnership, it can also be to people who are partnered up as well. Now, something that I want to talk to you about is about tempering expectations of life. Now, unfortunately, because we've grown up in a society where we have romantic films and, stories of fairy tales and, Cinderella and Prince Charming and these kind of ideologues that people kind of fall into and these tropes that people follow, people tend to get stuck in their heads a little bit about their expectations of what's going to happen in their life. And this can be one of the biggest reasons why people can feel very sad and unhappy around times like Christmas and Valentine's Day and so on and so forth. Now, a lot of us imagine that for Valentine's Day, we're going to get the great grand unveiling of something fantastic, some great, wonderful, exciting Valentine's gift or moment or great, wondrous thing like we've seen in films, like we've seen in the movies. And for most people, this doesn't actually happen. And so we're left feeling a little bit flat, we're left feeling dejected, unsatisfied, and unhappy in the situation, whereas actually we probably got quite a lot to be grateful for in that moment. Maybe you didn't receive 24 roses delivered to your workplace with this fantastic note from your secret lover or whatever, or 70,000 doves set loose outside your front door, or some guy standing there with cards telling you about how much he loves you and wants to be with you. I don't know, the typical kind of romantic ideologies that we have that run through movies. And when you don't get these experiences, a lot of people feel like what they have gotten is lesser. What they have received is not as worth as the thing that they were hoping for, or the thing that they've envisioned or seen on films. Now, this is real life, This is real life. A lot of the time you won't receive the things that you're hoping for. A lot of the time you won't get the 24 roses or, the 70,000 doves. That would be incredible. Very cruel. But, the 70,000 odd doves that I've just imagined in my own mind. Or, whatever it is that you've seen online or on films or, in these great grand kind of things that you've seen on YouTube. Best proposal, greatest wedding dance, greatest birthday gift, where some guy or some girl has gone out of their way to do some incredible stuff. That's the exception. That fantastical thing is the exception to the rule. Now, the problem is that when we see them so often and they become tropes and archetypes and ideas that we will follow, these then become things that we think are the rule and not the exception. But the truth of the matter is that they are the exception. And so a lot of people are left feeling empty, heartache, disappointment when it comes round to the day that they're expecting something amazing to happen, and something like that doesn't happen, and that could be quite depressing if you're thinking about having something great and fantastical happening and then you just get a bouquet of flowers from wherever, and you're expecting your husband riding in on a white elephant. I'm really mixing my metaphors here, but whatever. Riding on a white elephant, with 1,000 Siberian tigers behind him, singing a love song that he's written with you with Elton John on the back. You're going to get the bouquet of flowers and you're going to be like, yeah, where's my tigers? And where has that come from? Where has this disappointment come from? And you have only one person to blame, and that's you. The reason why you're disappointed is because you'd set up such a great grand thing in your mind that when you actually received something that was quite nice and loving, like a bouquet of flowers, like a card, like something small, then that thing became minuscule. in comparison to the idea that you had set up in your mind. Now, this isn't about eradicating hope. Now, I practice law of attraction. I think big. I think big a lot. But I think you have to learn the difference for what you can impact on your own life and what you can impact on others. Now, you can't expect other people to live their lives for you. Because when we're expecting these huge, great, grand things, we are expecting the people in our lives to become the supporting cast in our movie, you know? And it's easy to do that, you know, it's very easy. We're all kind of on Instagram, we're all, you know, the stars of our own movies now, you know? You've got your Instagram page, your Facebook page, you've got your feed, your, you know, Snapchat, whatever, and people are watching you and people are paying attention to your life as if you're a movie star now. You know, as if you are famous. And that's great, but the problem is it leads us into wanting to create movie-like scenescapes for the thing that we are always placing our lives on, for our audience that's out there. You know, whether you're a YouTuber or you're on Instagram or Snapchat or Facebook or whatever, what we're trying to do is trying to create a highlight reel, the best life that we show to our friends. And then sometimes when, you know, you're expecting some great grand thing and you don't get it, it's disappointing, you know, and you're more disappointed for the lack of content for your movie than necessarily the fact that what you've received wasn't good enough. You know, a lot of the reasons why people feel unsatisfied with the things that they've got is expectation. And so, you know, what I'm suggesting to you is to, you know, hope for the best and expect the worst. And this is something that I use quite a lot in my life, which is where I'm hoping that I'll get more. I'm hoping that good things will come. I'm hoping that, you know, life will be fantastic and I will be forever happy and everything's going to be wonderful. But I'm preparing, I'm expecting for nothing. I'm expecting the worst. And this is something that, I would say is more realism than it is about positive thinking, is about kind of, you know, negativity or anything. A lot of people that have this kind of like the glass is half full, the glass is half empty, you know, and these ideas of what is positivity and what is negativity. However, I think what is more important is to be hopeful, which is about true positivity. It's about that things can get better, that things will hopefully get better, and having a faith in life and in what you've got and in your society and so forth and in yourself. But also having kind of an understanding that things do go wrong in life, and an understanding of things that we don't always get exactly what we want. And so, you know, you're hoping for better, but you are preparing in case it's not there. And I think that this is a much more stable way of looking at things in life. You know, if you hope for the best, how big is your imagination? Because mine's massive, you know, and I can get really downcast quite a lot because I've got very high expectations of myself and of others, and they can become dashed quite quickly when people don't fulfill their end of what I have perceived as their end of the bargain. And actually the truthfulness of it is that they haven't signed up to any end of a bargain. It's something that I have put upon them. And so sometimes I can become quite dejected and unhappy by the fact that people don't follow suit or do what I would do. And I found this with friendships. You know, sometimes I'll go, you know, like the whole mile, and they go a couple of inches. And I'm like, oh, you know, but I did this and you did that. And, you know, I don't think it should be that we're doing things for other people to do them back. But obviously, if you're somebody that gives quite a lot, it can be quite upsetting when people don't give back. And if you're that kind of personality type, like I am, I think it's really important to temper your expectations. So if you are finding yourself being unhappy with what you're receiving, what life is giving you on these times like birthdays, Christmases, Valentine's, whatever, and you're having these expectations of other people that other people are not following through on, recognize the fact that that is your fault, that's your problem, and so it's your responsibility to deal with it. Other people haven't signed up to give you these grandiose experiences that you've allowed your imagination to run wild with. What they have signed up to do is be your partner, your lover, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your friend, whatever. And for them, that means whatever that means for them. Now, you might have a different idea about what that is, and we all do. We all have different ideas about what it means to be a good friend. But the point of it is that, your idea is your idea. You go as far as you're comfortable to go to, but don't expect that back of other people. And I think that releasing the expectation of people to give back to you in the same way that you've given is really important. So releasing expectations and also, tempering your expectations. So, what we're expecting of other people, it has to be minimalized. You have to minimalize it. If you find that you are often being disappointed because other people are not following through as you feel you would do or as you do, that isn't something you can necessarily force upon other people. Some people are just more considerate. Some people have more time. Some people have more money. Some people have higher expectations. For some people that have got very low expectations, then them just saying to you, Happy Valentine's Day, is them doing their expectation. That's them fulfilling their expectations of what they should do for that day. If you've got very high expectations and you are very high ideas about what people should do to fulfill love, relationships, joy, blah, 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 and you just get a Happy Valentine's Day, you're going to be quashed. You're going to be like, what? I expected so much more. But that's on you. That isn't on them. So, remember that the expectations that you set for other people are not necessarily those expectations that they're willing to go along with. Recognize that you need to temper your expectations. If you're somebody that is constantly getting dashed by other people's behavior, it's probably because you're expecting too much of others. And in a way that can relinquish a little bit of type A personality from you as well, because if other people are going less, you don't necessarily have to go as far. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to become lax or you have to become somebody that doesn't care and doesn't put the effort into things, but it also means that you're not having to go as far as you have to go. And if you find that you going far is making you feel resentful to other people, then you need to ask yourself the big question of why are you going that far? Because if you're somebody that naturally loves doing things that are nice for other people and you're giving gifts out of love, then you don't really mind so much if they're reciprocated. But if you're doing things because you have a low self-esteem and if you feel that giving to other people will get you something back, whether that's love, adoration, friendship, whatever, then you need to work on the fact that you have low self-esteem and that your gift giving, your giving of whatever it is that you're giving to other people, that's the problem. That's a symptom of the issue. That other people not reciprocating isn't the problem that you have. The problem that you have is that you're using gift giving or time giving or resources or whatever it is that you're giving to other people and feeling irritated that they're not giving back to you in the same way. You're doing that probably because of the fact that you are that you have low self-esteem and you're hoping that you can buy people's affection or buy people's respect. And I don't necessarily mean buying with gifts, but if you're giving time, effort, energy, whatever, it's a transaction. So and if you're feeling that, so the other thing is that people feel lonely on Valentine's Day, and this is such a common one. I've spent years being single. I am happily engaged at this current moment in time. That sounds like that's going to happen. That's going to change at some point, but hopefully not. But at the moment, I'm okay. I've spent times in my life when I've been single and on my own, and you know, again, Valentine's Day can feel like something pretty heartbreaking at points if you are on your own or you don't feel loved at that time. And again, this comes from this expectation of what the day should mean. I mean, it's just another day, but the problem is that we have, you know, a consumerist society that lays it on with the trowel about how Valentine's Day is the day to recognize all the people that you love, that if you're not loved, if you're not attractive, if people aren't going after you, then you're worth nothing in society. As a woman, your kind of worth in society is intrinsically linked to how attractive you are, and if you're not attractive, nobody's sending you Valentine's Day cards. So this is a massive problem, you know, and it's got lots of kind of things that are linked in together. So your self-worth, your self-identity, you know, your joy, your happiness for the day. And it doesn't have to be linked to all these things. It can just be another day. And you know what I would suggest is, if you are feeling lonely on the day and you're feeling like, you know, that Valentine's Day is a day for you that is difficult regularly, then take a step back and find something that you enjoy doing, and go and have like an anti-Valentine's Day, you know, and look into doing things like processes of self-care, maybe get away for the day, maybe do something, if you've got the money to, go to a spa, or if you haven't got the money, then stay home, call a friend over, get a bottle of wine, do pedicures and manicures, or get the boys around, have some beers, play some poker. All of this is very stereotypical for genders, but you know, typically people like doing these sorts of things. So, you know, if you want to wear a face pack in your guide, go for it. You know, it doesn't have to fall in line. Find something that you enjoy, you know, whatever it may be. You know, watching a mushy film, watching horror films, watching, you know, documentaries, sitting and eating popcorn and playing Monopoly with your mum. Do whatever, you know, because it doesn't have to be something that is, that's romantic. It doesn't have to be with somebody who's your romantic partner. You don't have to go on a date. You don't have to be in love. You don't have to do any of these things. These are all expectations that are put on you from society, and you don't have to be part of it if you don't want to be part of it. If you don't want to do Valentine's Day, throw that crap in the bin and ignore it, you know, and choose to do something else that makes you thrive in that moment. And I think that when you are feeling lonely, often we're feeling lonely because we feel unloved and we feel that there isn't somebody there for us. And I think that you'd be surprised actually how many other people feel lonely and unloved on Valentine's Day. You know, and if you're part of my meetup group, guys, set up a meetup group like the anti-Valentiners and get some people in. You know, put up an event and get some people out. All of you go for a pint. You know, singletons, go for a pint. You know, do something extraordinary. What's the worst that can happen? You know, if you feel shit on Valentine's any day anyway, what's the worst that can happen? You know, that you feel shit again, it's like, okay, we'll take a chance. You know, if you do want to date and you are feeling nervous about that, then, you know, don't. Give yourself the pep talk. You know, you have got something fantastic to give to the world. We all have. We're all individuals. We're all unique in our beautiful own little ways. And you've got a lot of reasons to feel confident. And if you want to get out and date, then get out there and date. You know, there's plenty of ways to access other people. Whether you want to try a dating app, you know, they're all different for different reasons. You know, I'd say if you're looking more for a hookup stuff, then go for Tinder. You know, if you're looking for romance, go for something where where you're paying for things. So maybe like Match.com, or like where you pay for a subscription. I mean, so Match.com or like Bumble or something like that, because then it kind of, you know, weeds out the people who aren't really truly serious. And, you know, free places like Tinder and things like that, you're probably might find more people who are just maybe up for a hookup or something. If that's what you want, cool, go for it. If you want something for a serious relationship, look into kind of dating apps which have subscriptions. You know, I think I've heard terrible things about Plenty of Fish, so I would advise anybody to stay off of that, unless you want a weirdo or just a hookup. But there's somewhere for everyone, you know, and there's someone for everyone. And so, you know, ahead of Valentine's Day on Friday, you know, start to think about yourself as being somebody who's worthy and who is wonderful. Temper your expectations for what you expect for the day. If you don't want to spend Valentine's Day alone, don't. I'm sure you've got at least a handful of friends who are also single who would also love to do something with you, whether it's going to the cinema or having a pint or doing whatever, you know, or just hanging around on your sofa and watching a film. You know, things don't have to cost money, things don't have to take time, and things don't have to take a lot of effort to be able to be a successful, enjoyable experience. And if you are partnered, remember to temper your expectations. Your partner is not a supporting cast member in the film of your life. You know, they also have their expectations, they also have their lives and things. You know, it's unlikely that they have the time and resources to, you know, fly a helicopter to you and whisk you off to Tahiti for the weekend and do all of these grandiose experiences that we see on films and things. You know, and yeah, I'm putting in extremes to make the point, but you recognize, and you will understand and recognize my point is that, you know, we do have these expectations of people in our lives, and that sometimes they are over and above. Probably not as grandiose as I'm making for the point, but they are often above what is reasonable. And it's this unreasonable expectation that actually causes most people to feel unhappy on Valentine's Day, because they feel like they could have had more. And actually the likeliness is that other people out there aren't getting more, and that you are remembering that you're seeing the highlight reel of people's lives. And so, you know, the great grand experiences that people are showing you are the exceptions and they're not the rule, because most people won't show you the rule, and the rule is probably just a card and a kiss and maybe something to eat. So, and if that's the rule, I think that's pretty good. You know, I think that's pretty good, and I think you can be grateful for that. There's a lot of people out there who have a hell of a lot less than a bunch of roses or a card or somebody just to tell them that they love them. You know, you don't even need the bunch of roses or the card. If somebody's getting up and kissing you on Valentine's Day and telling you how wonderful you are and how much they love you, that's a lot more than a lot of people have got. So try and be a little bit more grateful in your life, and remember to temper your expectations, that you are not living in a film, you're not living in a movie, but you're living a real life. And so I hope all of this helps for you all for Valentine's Day. I'm going to get this out hopefully before Valentine's Day. I'm recording this the weekend before, but hopefully I will get this out to you all just before Valentine's Day, so you can use this to help you. So good luck for Valentine's Day. Have a great day, have a great weekend, and feel free to like, share, subscribe, and get in touch if you need any advice, any help. If you've got any topics you would like me to talk about, please get in touch. I love you all. Goodbye.